Michael Matry, spoken word artist, entrepreneur.
Yo, what's up? My name is Jason Ferguson, aka Jason Ferg. I'm an emergency manager at a higher education institution. I'm also a music artist.
Yo, what's up? This is Vladimir DeRay, professional barber here in Southern California. Can't wait to rock with y'all.
I'm Joe Free, property management professional and an all-around creative.
All right. Welcome. Well, my name is Michael.
I am Joe Free.
And you got Vladimir DeRay.
Man, I am so excited for season 2 of the Alert and Calm podcast. And we're going to open it right up. Today, we're going to be talking about toxic feminism versus toxic masculinity. Are we having the wrong conversation? This is a subject that we hear about a lot on social media.
Right.
And the thing is that this can go multiple different ways. The first thing I want to ask is, are we having the wrong conversation? Is that something that we should be focused on? Is it a real thing? Is it make-believe? Is it something somebody made up? Is it a misconception? What are we talking about when we talk about these two subjects?
Oh, you playing right into my hands because I definitely think it's fake. I think it's a fake fight. I think it's a distraction. And if we can't create humans, I know that they're got some new technology out there. If you're on the cutting edge, that's fine. But for the most part, you need a man and a woman in order to build an empire or for that unit for society. So I don't really understand the toxic femininity or masculinity or how people are playing out these fights in front of us for when it comes to social media.
Oh, we're just people.
Yeah.
And we make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Right. What do you think?
I think the word toxic itself, it's pretty much just been, it's a word that literally been added as the A to the B, right?
Right.
Toxic masculinity. What's going on is like you have toxic relationships. So we're just adding this word toxic to something that we should know how to like or naturally behave to, right? So what we're doing is we're going into it toxic.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're playing into that word toxic.
So if I'm hearing you guys correctly, you're saying it's not the thing within itself, right? So maybe you're saying that, like, for example, let's start with toxic masculinity.
Okay.
Toxic masculinity, some would categorize it as being domineering or being aggressive or whatever the case may be. Are you saying that that's not masculinity at all? Or what are you saying?
Well, when it comes to me, when it comes to masculinity, it's kind of hard for me to pin down because I guess someone saying that something is toxic is in response to them wanting to do whatever they wanted to do. But my relationship is going to be based off of biblical principles. So it's kind of like, okay, in what way am I going to be toxic? Like, how is that going to happen? And inside of a relationship, you should be submitting to one another, but a man does definitely play a role. So with me, it's like, okay, if you're using the word toxic to kind of gaslight somebody or make them feel guilty about whatever they're doing, it doesn't really make much sense because like, what is the role of the man or the masculine energy that's acting at that moment, and what is the end goal? You know what I mean? Like, what is the reason? Because if I'm trying to tell my wife, hey, I don't want you to wear this when you go to this place, she might not know what I know about that place, or I might be protecting her and myself, because if somebody looks at her wrong, I'm gonna be out my seat before I know it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I need a definition of terms, and a lot of it just seems like a lot of like manipulation and control when it comes to people's behaviors, which is just crazy.
Is it possible that we're oversimplifying it? Is it possible that we're taking something and we're saying that, because all the things that I hear you saying sounds like positive masculine traits, right? Okay. So this can't be what's being talked about when they say it's toxic masculinity. Are we, to play devil's advocate, would it be talking about degrading females or making them feel less than, or some of those toxic things? Like, what name would you think that they're just giving it an improper name, or what do you think is happening there?
This is where
how did masculinity get attached to that?
Cool. So like when it comes to feminism, as far as I understand it, so I'm going to frame it the way I understand it. So when it comes to feminism, a lot of feminism to me is really reverse. So feminism is really just masculinism of the women, is how I feel.
Joe, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble.
Yo, check me out because it's like, all right, and I'm not trying to go off into any fringe or conspiracy theories or anything like that. But when you look at some of the pictures of these early feminists, some of them are like dudes in drag. It looks like, you know what I mean? But check me out.
Is wild.
Check me out. So like, if you think about it, all right, when it comes to feminism and stuff like that, if you're calling something feminism, and we're talking about equal pay for a job, like if a woman does a job, that's not really feminism. That's fairness. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's unfair to pay somebody that's doing the right work. And that's how we were raised.
Okay.
All right, cool. But anything when it comes to like outright disrespecting a man or acting out of place or being aggressive or like loud mouthing something, like, I don't know about that being feminism. It seems unsafe instead of us calling it like feminism. You know what I'm saying?
Well, bars, because feminism being unsafe for a man, we're going to get back to that idea. Though. I want you to hold on to that, but I want to hear from Vlad. Vlad, what do you think? What do you think this is? Do you think that it's a pure definition, or do you think that it's something that has been titled incorrectly?
Well, you know, the thing is, for me, when it comes to the word toxic, right? Toxic has its definition. But in today's day and age, we use the word, I wanted to say we, right? Necessarily. But what I'm noticing is that society is using the word as a fun word.
Right.
Right? It's like, oh, he's toxic.
Right.
I like him. Oh, she's toxic. I like her. Right? So it's like, it's becoming kind of like a fun word. It's like, for example, many years ago, if someone says you're toxic, you'll take that personal and say, I'm toxic. You'll look it up. You'll understand what it is. You'll understand what you're doing. You'll study your behavior and you'll change that.
Right.
Right? Isn't that the right way to go about it? Right. But now it's just kind of like, now it's becoming so fun, it's becoming acceptable. I'm toxic. Some people will straight up tell you, going into a relationship that I'm toxic. And some people actually are looking for that, right? So when you talk about it, it's just like, you know, what are you going to say to me? Are you going to yell at me? You're going to like push me around? You're going to mistreat me? Are you literally going to just kind of treat me like I am nothing, that I'm not there when I am there? My presence doesn't you could care less if I'm there or not, right? So it's like...
And some people are into that.
They're just kind of like that push away, right? And some people like the overbearingness of being like, what are you doing? Where are you? Who are you? Boom, 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 boom. And just trying to control you, right? And toxic guys kind of goes hand in hand when you are trying to control another individual. Right? So, and that can go masculinity or femininity. Right? So it could be like the female is trying to control or the male is trying to control. And then now that person gets defined as he's toxic.
Okay, wait. Well, hold on one second. So I know we spent a lot of time right now in the toxic masculinity thing, but let's talk a little bit about toxic femininity. Like, what if we were to put a name to what people perceive that as? I'm not even saying that the term is even true, but what would be perceived as toxic femininity? For example, do you think victimhood as a form of power would be toxic feminism? Like, what are your ideas of what toxic feminism is?
I would say my idea of toxic feminism is not understanding or willing to understand the masculine side, right? It's just like, it's me, it's who I am and what I want, and that's it. And then your understanding of the masculine side is you provide, and that's it. So now instead of like understanding, like, you know, and taking pride in understanding who your masculine partner is, right? If you have that partner, you know what I mean? You are now toxic because you only check off your boxes when you're not willing to help this other person check off their boxes.
Wow. What do you think about that?
Wait. So you were saying the woman would act in a way...
Like, what would be considered toxic feminism to you?
Toxic feminism,
If that's even a true term, or whatever people would categorize as toxic feminism.
You had a bar there when you were talking about not understanding the masculine side or understanding your partner, because what I understood from what you were saying is that the word ignorant is what I understand it is the root word of that is ignore, right? So in order for a person to be ignorant, they would have to be knowledgeable. And that's what makes it a fake fight to me, because right now we're in the age of TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, what have you. And when it came to me being single or me wanting a girl, I would ask every successful married couple. I would also note any bad advice that I got, right? All right, cool. So when it comes to what you were saying, I totally agree, because it's like men are pretty like easy to please and even control, I would say. And it sucks sometimes because you'll have some women that are, let's say, freer with themselves, that will practice the way to manipulate men. And then you'll have women that are married that refuse to learn like these things to do. And it's pretty easy. Like, okay, feed them. And don't nag a lot, and be quiet, and know when to be quiet, like type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, but it's like, okay, when it comes to guys, we definitely have to learn that too, right? It's like, all right, for sure. Like if she's feeling moody, or it's that time of the month, or she might be mad about work or something like that, I'll be the first one making a drink, making breakfast. Oh, you need your foot rubbed or whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? It's like a thing. So it's like, whatever you need, I got it for you. And it's the way that I view feminism, or the way that some of these women are misrepresenting the feminine energy, because that's really all it is. Because there are a lot of great women out there, especially even now when I'm married. I'll notice a lot of women that I'm like, yo, why is this chick single? But it's a lot of those women that are out there, but some women are misrepresenting it. And it's almost like they're standing on business on how they don't want to exhibit the traits that would be shown by a good wife or a good mate. And it's weird to me.
I think, to be honest with you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is emotion tied to toxic? Right? The things you're talking about, are you emotionally available? You know, this is something that's been asked or required of me now that I'm a husband. Is like, you have to work on becoming more emotionally available, right? So, you know, obviously there are times when we're talking about toxic, right? We're talking about, us three are three married men, right? So no matter what, even prior to marriage and after marriage, there's a transition. Whether you like it or not, whether you understand it or not, there's a transition. There's a way you have to transfer how you were as a boyfriend, as a friend, companion, whatever you want to label it as. And now you have to transfer that into a husband, right? Now, under God, and right, you got married and under God, and however you completed your marriage. But now it's like, here's the thing, you might have married a toxic person, right? Like, it happens. Don't get it twisted. That toxicity, being toxic, means that you won't find your person. You'll find your person. That person's willing to stick with you, be with you, do what it takes to like be there for you. However, now you have to find a way to like, let's detox this toxic.
That's what's up.
Right? Like, let's detox it. So, now it's like you basically have to literally become emotionally available to your husband, emotionally available to your wife, right? Now emotions play a part, because now you're locked in. Prior to not being locked in, there's a little bit of you that could walk away,
right?
If it's too toxic, right? But now it's just like, all right, regardless of the fact, I tried to walk away, I tried everything I can, but you know what? I really love this person. I want to be with them. And now I have to transfer this toxicness into emotion.
When you say walk away, what do you mean by that? From the relationship or for a time?
From the relationship.
Okay, no doubt.
Right.
Because I walk away regularly, but I always come back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, hey, if that's what, that's wisdom too, right? Because it's like, okay, I have my thresholds as well. So if my wife is doing something that might not be the best or my favorite, then that's one thing. But you also have other things that I could be dealing with that she has no clue of. And she could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But for me, it's very important for me to be able to withdraw from the space, be like, all right, cool. It's not safe for me to create a space that's unsafe for all of us. So maybe it's time for me to take a walk or what have you.
Yeah. So let me ask you this real quick. So could it be that instead of, maybe because this is just the fad or the phase, could it be that we're just putting labels on things that don't really need labels, they just need assistance? So to your point, could it be, and to Vlad's point, could it be that people just have a little something going on inside and they just need to work on themselves rather than labeling it a thing? Could this just be that, from a male and a woman's perspective, people just need to work on themselves?
See, it's funny that you say that, because you're touching on what Lad was saying when it comes to saying, oh, I'm toxic. Because with me, I would never say that, and I haven't said that, but I was open with some things that I had some challenges on, and I knew that I had that work on. So that's me admitting that I have a challenge, and that I'm gonna be working to improve that. And I'm also asking for grace if I'm unable to make the type of improvement that is expected of me, right?
Yeah.
But it almost sounds like somebody saying that I am toxic is saying that they're accepting whatever it is that's wrong with them, and they're standing on it. Like, hey, this is me, and I'm identifying with it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, hey, this is an issue that I am observing, and I need to go ahead and work around with this and get better. You know what I mean? Is that
so labeling it almost brings a certain pride to having it.
The nothingness. Never-ending story. Like when you name it, then it's like something else.
Right.
But if you're trying to get better, which is ill, and that's what's kind of shaky too, because when you think about, we've all been on a self-improvement journey.
Yeah.
And what I felt like was interesting is that if you have, whether or not it's toxic femininity or masculinity or whatever it is that whenever you go on that self-improvement journey, the first note that you'll notice among the people that are successful, they're like, cut out everything that's toxic, everything that doesn't serve you, cut it out. And I'm just like, yo, this is nuts. And that's why I'm saying, okay, like all these resources are available to you. If one would know that, and they were looking to have a relationship and looking to be a wife or husband or what have you, they would not be labeling it as I'm toxic. It's like, okay, I'm working on this or whatever that is. Because if you're doing that, then you're going to be cut out one way or another, whether or not you're in wedlock or otherwise. And someone's going to be like pretty much skating around whatever it is that you're doing, and it might ultimately be into that final walk away.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting, right? Like,
tiring.
Like that's exhausting. So, Vlad, let me ask you this. Is society producing more stronger or confused men?
Confused.
Wow, that was quick.
That was easy. That's an easy
Why do you
one.
say that?
When you look at the generation that's coming up, everyone is social media educated. We're looking down, we're not looking up. We're scrolling and we're processing. So what's going on is that everything's so easy to bounce off. Right? No one has feelings towards anything anymore. It's just more like, oh, you didn't hear about this? And it's just like, no, I didn't. And then all of a sudden you are a nobody, right? Because you don't know what's going on. Right, like you don't, I wouldn't necessarily go as far as nobody, but I use, just playing around with it. But in a way, you're just kind of, oh, he doesn't know anything. Anyway, do you know about? Yeah, I do. So what's going on? It's like this person knows, and now there's an acceptance there. You use the word acceptance, right? So it's like, I think what's going on is that we need more, and I remember having this conversation in the past, right, with someone who was just like mentorship. I remember we went to you brought me to a meeting with Jason Ferg, and I forget the name, but I think it was like something about 1,000 Kings or 100 Kings. And I remember walking into that room and I'm like, this is something that is so needed, right, within a community, within a city, within the United States of America, within the world, like where we just need to like reconnect. Social media down, notebooks out, conversations are happening, mentorship, experiences are shared, wisdom is shared. We need that again. You know what I mean? Like now everyone, when you go to coffee shops, everyone's heads down. When you go anywhere, you go to the gym, everyone's heads down. It's like, so we're literally becoming like, we're producing less, I would say, one-on-one individuals to personal individuals.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of enjoy that. I mean, and it kind of makes guys like us, especially Mike, I know, into sharks, because and even it's funny because I was reviewing. So Mike was there when I met my wife. I think you were there too.
I was there. That was the first time we met.
Yeah, they were. And I was reflecting on that night, and you guys are not like anybody. Well, for someone. It says something about me with the men that I meet, and that's fine. There's very few of you, but I remember the way that we would approach women to dance was not the way that other men would approach women to dance. And it makes us stand out because it's kind of like, hey, I'm looking for eye contact. I am looking for you to notice me. I'm looking for acceptance before I run up behind you. Not even behind you. I'm going face to face. I'm walking right up to you. So
and end up behind them.
Maybe. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We know what it is.
Put your hand
come on here. But when it comes to that, and I know that makes us the light, and I know that makes us different. That's fine. But when we're going from place to place, if I'm meeting somebody, I'm like, hey, yo, what's good? You know what I mean? Even if they're like on their phone, and that happens to me all the time. I can be on a walking trail. I can be in out the gym. I could just be in a grocery market, and somebody just on their phone and trying to like ignore me. I'm like, hey, good morning, and they're like kind of shocked. So there are some times
it kind of gives you an advantage. You
a little bit. Yeah, which I do. Like I enjoy that a little bit. It's kind of fun. I mean, maybe it's the mischievous part of me because I be messing with people, and that's fine. Right. But I think I agree with you when it comes to, and I always wondered that, like, why isn't there some sort of like framework or like process to create like strong men or strong relationships or strong women or whatever that is, to where it's like, hey, you can just refer back to it. And it should be able to be like a repeatable thing, and maybe even something by the government. That's something that we can go into a little bit later. But I always wondered about that. But the beauty about right now is that you can literally go into ChatGPT's like, hey, what would make me a great husband? What would make me a great girlfriend? What would make me a great boyfriend? And you'd have to just be that resourceful to figure it out and just line it up and just be that. You know what I mean?
You know, to that point, I don't think there's anything in society that's pointing us to that, though. And it's never been because of a lack of information. Right. It's never been because of a lack of knowledge. I mean, it's there. It's passed down by stories of elders and all those type of things. But it seems like that's not a priority. Like they talk about chivalry being dead and all these type of things. It seems like certain things are not a priority in this new age that we're living in. And I think the thing that sucks the most about everything that you guys are discussing is sentiment. It seems like sentiment is gone. Like it seems like nothing is sentimental anymore. And Wemby just won the Western Conference Finals with the Spurs. Okay. One of the things that I really loved about what he did was he cried. He was emotional. He hugged his teammates. He hugged his coaches. And it meant something again. I remember the NBA championship being something that when people win, they're in tears. They're rolling around on the ground. Last year, the Oklahoma City Thunder won the championship, and it looked like a regular day. Like, I've seen regular season wins where people looked happier. Like they were just like, meh, it's the championship.
Maybe because it's scripted.
Well, maybe because they're younger. Maybe because they're younger.
Oh, no doubt.
And they grew up on these. They grew up on the technology. Right. And they don't really understand sentimental value. I'm thinking that there's something about the lack of sentiment that's directly connected to these phones and social media and all that stuff. So,
what is the value of sentiment?
I think it makes for a masculine man. I don't think that you can be a masculine man if you lack sentiment. That's not real masculinity. If you look at even the examples of the Bible where you talked about when people were taking care of their families and going to work and doing the things that they needed to do, there was always a sentiment about going out for their people. There was always a sentiment or a pride about protecting the tribe. There was always a sentiment about making sure that the people had land and resources. There has to be a sentimentality there, right? We don't really care about going out to war to battle for our wife and our kids and doing all that if we don't have a sentimental value of protecting our home, right? So if you're confused about why men don't have are toxic or whatever it is because maybe we've eroded sentiment.
You know what's funny? There was a group of women that were lobbying against the feminism movement in its early days, and they were one of their main talking points is that it would erode chivalry, which is funny, and that's what I think is funny. So if you go from either side of the scales, in order for feminism's inception, they had to ignore a group of women, which I think is kind of ironic and comical.
Wow, so
interesting.
What are your thoughts on that?
When it comes to sentiment?
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like nothing's sentimental anymore, right? We were having this conversation the other day where everything is technology, microwave lifestyle, right? I want to just press a button, it's ready for me now, right? So, you know, the thing is, we're missing the point of the past and how we were taught, when we were brought up, where it's just like cooking, for example, right? Cutting your peppers,
say a word.
Slicing your onions, seasoning your meat, right? Boiling some water, get the right, you know what I mean? Like cooking it's so much more meaningful when it's like, all right, you got a pot of rice, a pot of this, pot, you know, everything's prepared. There's some stuff, mac and cheese in the oven, right? That's why we all love Thanksgiving. For some reason, everyone's waiting for that time because Big Mama or whoever, dad's in the kitchen cooking, chefing it up. So, but that's not consistent. So the lack of consistency is definitely bringing the lack of sentiment, because it's like everything requires cooking. Your health requires you to like, you know what I mean? It takes time, right? Your relationship, it takes time. It's just like, you got to work on it. Is it sentimental to you? If it is, work on it.
You know what's crazy? I think that one thing that I found common with women that are representing, or I would argue misrepresenting feminism, is that they, it's almost like cooking is looked down upon.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I don't cook.
Okay, no doubt. That's
Right,
good.
no, I'm just saying. I'm not saying for me.
I mean, it's all good.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
well, I feel
don't expect
like,
me to cook, man.
So I cook. I cook every day, all day. I do most of the cooking just because I'm live at it. I'm not gonna, you know, be shy about it. But I feel like it's kind of crazy, because if one person doesn't cook, because when you cook, you will find. Well, this is what I found out. When people are talking about like Chick-fil-A and Popeye's sandwiches and stuff like that, and I believe one of the brothers from the Muslim Nation looked it up and he was like, yo, it's like 100 ingredients inside of the sandwich. And I was like, that kind of blew my mind until I was making a gumbo and I was making a stew or something like that. And I put in all these herbs, right? Like all these herbs, these medicinal herbs. I had put in some soursop. I had put in some stinging nettle. I had put in a couple of other things that just were off recipe, right? And nobody could taste the difference. And I was like, wow. And then later on, people was like, yo, my nose is running. And I was like, okay, because I put this in, and this is for this and this and this and that. And I'm like, that's cool. So when you have somebody that's cooking, it's almost like it's up curving the health. So if you have a bunch of women that may have not known, or they're looking down on cooking and the guys don't cook, then where do they go? Popeyes.
Right.
And then everybody's health starts declining.
And then that's real toxicity.
I mean, and that's what's ill. And it's kind of like, and if the guys, if we have to cook, then that's fine. But somebody got to do it.
So along those lines, though, right? Because we're a bunch of dudes talking about this subject, right? And I'm sure that not everybody is going to agree with the things that we've been saying and the things that we've been talking about. So then it's going to create a little stir online and people are going to talk about it. And do you think the real issue is why sentiment is kind of going down, and why, you know, we have these harsh views about cooking, not cooking, providing, not providing? Do you think that social media is kind of putting men against women?
Maybe. And I mean, I feel like it's more of a, I don't know what that's about, because like, because even if me quoting the Bible is that can kind of rub somebody the wrong way. And I remember that in my meditations where I was like, yo, it makes a lot of sense for a feminist to be an atheist, because like your first story in the Bible in Genesis, they're talking about Eve ultimately serving Adam the forbidden fruit and getting him kicked out the garden. And a lot of pastors are guilty of preaching that in a way to where they're blaming the women. You know what I mean? And then you also have women that have a propensity for identifying with other women, almost like it's a hive consciousness. When I'm just like, hey, you can't identify with every woman, because it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? And many of your relationships and marriages have been ruined that way.
What do you think? You think that men and women are kind of being pitted against each other online?
Yeah, going back to social media, like you said, and being online, right? It's like, I believe this is also hurting a lot of people. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes, like people that are scrolling all day, and maybe some people are lonely. They're looking for a man, right? Or a man's lonely and he's looking for a female. And what's happening is that you're looking on social media at the people that may quote unquote have a man or not have a man or have a woman or not have a woman, right? What's going on is like they're saying who they are, what they have, how they look, you know what I mean? What they've accomplished. And you might have someone that maybe haven't accomplished that yet, maybe don't look like that yet, whatever the case may be, and they just don't feel like they have the ability to meet a man or have the ability to meet a woman.
Word.
Because there's a lack of like, I don't have what this person has, right? Because on social media, what's happening is like, especially with influencers and stuff, and nothing against influencers, but what's going on is like, some people are like, man, that's an influencer. I would love to be like that. Look what they've accomplished. Right? They got the girl, they got the car, they got the house, they got the money, they got the et cetera, blah, blah, blah. And it trickles down. But it's just like, if you have the person that doesn't have all of those things, it may be hurting them. And that's what's going on. It's not necessarily trying to pit everybody against each other, men and women against each other, but it's creating a separation.
Yeah. So let's bring the stables. Let's bring the horses back in the stable here. And let's just have like one last question to kind of bring us home. What's the cure? What's the fix from your perspective, from the highest elevated place that you can say, if you were to correct the situation with love, what would be your words?
I can't say with love and giving me the answer.
There you go.
But okay, so this is what I would say. Like, when it comes to rage bait and emotions and stuff like that, I remember Jay-Z, not to quote him after all the recent stuff, but I remember him saying on one of his albums, if fear is your only God, to get you to fear is my only job, right? And I feel like a lot of this, where people are like reacting to stuff, commenting on stuff, identifying with stuff, they're not able to objectively observe the information and then make a decision or process. And in the same way with, if somebody has one opinion, they're unable to observe a contrary opinion without being triggered. Because I feel like that's what saved me a lot, to where I'm going to look at all sides and I'm going to draw a conclusion. So it's constructive criticism when it comes to that. Of course, it's easy for me to say, hey, you can go into the scriptures and this is the foundation or whatever that is. That's fine. That can be the cure. But it's almost like that growth that somebody needs, or them identifying with that toxicity, that's not even going to work. Like, you need to be able to find out whatever it is, and it's going to sound, not to be contrarian when it comes to your notes about being sentimental, but it's almost like there's something that is robotic and systematic about you saying, okay, this is my flaw and I need to be aware of that flaw and I need to fix it, whether or not you're praying through it, meditating through it, or what have you. You know what I mean? And I know it's not the easy answer for me to give, but I feel like that's the cure.
Yeah.
And for us to realize, hey, we kind of all need each other, especially when it comes to men and women. Like, I don't see anything good for men and women having kids out of wedlock or fighting with each other or try to compare with each other. And we need to see each other for what we are. Men aren't women and women aren't men. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And it seems really confused. If we get it back to the basics, we'll be good.
Sounds like a lot of love in there to me.
Indeed.
What you got, D?
My thing is, I would say, if there is a cure, it's slowing down. I mean, I think obviously one of the biggest things that we live, like, I'm going back to my microwave statement, right? We want this fast life. Like, why aren't we slowing down? Why aren't we having a little bit more, like, just walk with yourself, be with yourself, understand who you are, understand what your needs are, and then slow down, and then just kind of like go after that. You know what I mean? When you've hit that reset, you go towards finding and fulfilling those answers, right? Who am I?
Yep.
What do I want?
Yeah.
What do I need?
Yeah.
Right? Once you've figured that out, now you move forward and you're like, now you can filter through this person that you're looking for, or removing toxicity, you know what I mean? Or accepting toxicity, right? Like, you could also see it. Sometimes you get to a point where if you slow down so much, you can identify it. You're like, you know what? I really like you, but you're toxic. And now, that's like the filtering process. And honestly, that can help that person that accepts the word toxic as like, man, I'm toxic. Yeah, I'm toxic. But then you meet someone, you could be like that all day. And then you meet someone, you're like, man, I really like her. But then she's like not giving you the time of day because you're over here accepting being toxic, correct? So now maybe her not accepting you and you really like her and you really want to like explore what the possibilities are with this person, maybe you'll actually start changing. Like,
yeah.
You know what? I need to like change.
It's kind of going back to the topic that Joe Free was saying is that, you know, a lot of times if the right intentions are there, the two sexes should bring each other to the center, right? Like they should balance each other out.
Right.
Like a good woman is supposed to lead you to God. Mm-hmm. A good woman is supposed to have you on your grind. And I always say this, we talk about this all the time. I say you are a product of the person that you're with, right? You are a product of the person that you're with. So if you are in shambles and you are in that state, I'm not saying it's the other person's fault, but they had a hand.
Right.
They had a hand in it. You know, we cannot be sharing a life, sharing a bed, sharing food, sharing words, sharing encouragement, sharing showers, sharing juices. And we get to this place where
Smoothies.
I'm a mess and you're on top of your game and I'm a mess. Like you have some stake in that. You have some responsibility in that. And so I think the key thing is that we need each other. I think the key thing is that we bring each other to the center. And I think the key thing is that we bring each other closer to God. That's all the time that we have here today. It's been the Alert and Calm podcast, season 2, episode 1. Fellas, how you feel? I'm feeling good. You feeling
We
good?
gonna do the part 2 because I got something. Yeah, yeah, that's what's up.
You toxic? You feeling toxic?
You feeling
Nah,
toxic?
man. I mean,
Joe, wrong one today.
you know what?
Tell us, cut this. We done.